I'm just going to have a little chat to start with. We're going to be doing a breathwork exercise and an information exchange exercise, which I'll explain when we get to it. Then we'll be doing our Pachamama ceremony. For those that are new, Pachamama literally means Mother Earth. And what we're doing is, with the sticks that you're given at the start, that's actually basically a symbolic way of making a commitment to Mother Earth to make changes within yourself to become a better person. And when you're ready, you'll come and place that onto the fire. It's not a prayer so much, more as an agreement with Mother Earth. Then we'll have what we actually call Pachamama, which is a larger piece that will go round the circle, and that's actually an agreement between you and the Creator and all of us collectively to what we can do to make this world a better place. Does that make sense? Yep. So this isn't about material gain, it's actually about for your own spiritual growth and for the raising of consciousness as a whole in our society. Okay, so why do you think I got you to do that exercise? Any ideas?
To center us into our surroundings and for us to learn to quieten the voice, because when we're too busy talking or too busy with everything else,
yep,
we come to a place where life is just flowing past us. It just helps us to bring us back into that present moment, into that place of stillness, and allowing and looking at the marvels of the universe that's around us and everything that's being shown.
Yep, okay. Anyone else want to add to that?
Make us aware of our senses.
Yep. Anyone else?
Yeah, it just shows we can do it.
Yep.
I don't stop wanting to do it.
Yep.
It's not until you start to pay attention to things that you don't usually that you realise just how much it's usually oblivious to you.
Yep.
Until you actually stop and focus.
Okay. All of that is correct? Yep.
I was going to say, start with physical senses and then go beyond to other senses that are still latent,
Yep.
but yet to be discovered.
Excellent. All of those answers are right. Plus, I wanted to give you a demonstration that all of you can hear the voice of Spirit. Because it's actually through those little things that Spirit is constantly talking to you. And when you slow yourself down enough, start paying attention, not only are you hearing those everyday things, but you're going to start to hear and see even more. Our whole world is covered in what we call telluric fields. People often get those mistaken with ley lines and everything else. Forget ley lines. The actual truth of it is the Earth is a magnetic sphere, and telluric fields is what the indigenous would call our song lines, and we would follow that magnetic field. What you did tonight was opening your senses enough so that eventually you can actually feel those song lines. You can actually feel those telluric fields. And when those telluric fields shift, that gives you a good indicator not only on what's happening in the world, but also what's happening inside. Because guess what we're made up of too? That same electromagnetism. Does that make sense? But it's all about creating a sensitivity to that. I'm going to do a little practice tonight so that you can actually see what that's all about. The reason why I'm wanting to share, hello, welcome.
Thank you.
the reason why I'm wanting to share that tonight is because approximately about 6 months ago, I was contacted by my elders and was told, okay, it's coming up to the time. And the time he was referring to was what we call the Great Shift, the Great Rift. And the Indigenous have been speaking about this, the elders have been speaking about this for thousands of years. A lot of people are all worried about this great awakening, this great shift, what's going to happen, and they think the world's going to fall apart. What's happening is that all of us who are more spiritually aware have started to tap in. It only becomes deeper. And those that have been asleep suddenly go, what's this I'm feeling? Guess who they're going to go and speak to? The wackos who've been saying this for years. Okay?
There it is.
Alright. I joke, I'm not calling you wackos, but
We've all
that's
been
how
called wackos.
that's how the outside world has often seen it. But all of a sudden things are starting to shift, and the reason this is happening is because our planet is actually moving closer to our galactic center. So we're getting all this waves and waves of energy. It's actually more information, but let's call it energy for now because that's the old terminology. That's actually hitting our planet, and it's coming in the form of photons. Now those photons are supercharged to actually create change within our human DNA. Subtle at first, but it is going to accelerate. Ancient Indian practice, as in continental Indian, not Native American Indian, speak of this time as moving from the Dark Age into the Bronze Age. We're coming out of some really dark, heavy stuff, which has all been about hiding and suppression, materialism, fear, all those base desires. They're all going to come up, bubbling up, and be shown for what it is, which is all a falsity. And we already start to seeing that, aren't we, in the world? Yeah? Okay.
Is that what they refer to as the Kali Yuga?
Yes.
A what?
Kali Yuga.
Kali Yuga.
We're coming to the end of Kali Yuga, and we're going into the new age. Now, this is cycles within cycles. This isn't the first time it's happened. This just happens and it keeps happening. And the reason this happens is because with each process that we go through, our consciousness gets higher and higher and higher. The beauty of where we are now is that there's so many of us that has actually raised our consciousness, and there are so many people on this earth. We only need 1% of the population to create physical change just using our consciousness. And guess what? All you here are part of that 1%. The estimates, though, is that probably close to 40% of the population are now consciously aware. They may not always talk about it, but they are. So, what often happens in these changing of the ages is good old Mother Earth, who's been so stable for us for so long, suddenly goes, oh, I'm feeling these energies too. I need to shake things up. Just like each of us is getting shook up in our energy vortex, yeah? So guess what happens? Volcanoes.
Cyclones that we don't have.
Cyclones we don't have. strange weather, earthquakes, things happening, and it's normal. Mother Earth just going, oh, hang on, I've got to work this out. What I want you to be assured of, though, is that each and every one of you chose to be here at this time. That was your purpose, to be here. Not to witness it, but to be part of the calming influence on our Mother Earth and everyone else in the world who's going to lose their minds. Okay? Because along with this energy is going to suddenly become more, let's say, in your face psychic phenomena. Lights in the sky, strange apparitions, weird voices, odd stuff happening. What I want to assure you is that this is not the first time this has happened before. Shaman like myself, elders who I've worked with, we've already been hearing those voices, seeing that weird shit for years. And we're fine. And so will you. Okay? But you actually have a choice. And the choice is to stay muted like you were before you went on your walk, or be open and aware as you were when you went out on your walk. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to share a story with you. A lot of you may have already read it. I did put it up on Facebook, but it is a story that's pertinent for this change in time, because what we're facing is a time of facing up to the duality, fear versus love, dark versus light, and understanding that, one, we have a choice of where we sit, and two, there isn't actually a choice, because it's non-duality that we're trying to achieve. Understanding that both sides of a coin are needed to make up a coin. Does that make sense? Okay. So I am sorry if you're hearing this story again and you've already heard it or read it. So Eagle Eye and I sat in the Australian bush, two fires burning before us. The scent of eucalyptus filled the night air, mingling with the crackle of the flames. He had built them deliberately, one with dry, solid wood burning steady and warm. The other he fed with green, oily eucalyptus. The second fire sputtered and hissed, sending up thick, acrid smoke. Then, without warning, it flared, wildly leaping high, spitting embers into the darkness. It was unpredictable and angry. The other fire, however, remained steady, casting a warm, even glow. Eagle Eye watched both for a moment, then turned to me. These are the two fires inside you. They're inside all of us. One is love, and the other is fear. I nodded, waiting. He gestured to the raging, choking flames. Fear burns fast. It takes everything, your peace, your breath, your sight. It makes you believe the whole world is on fire. But it can't last. It devours itself, leaving nothing but charred ground and regret. Then he motioned to the steady fire. Love, though. Love is a fire that warms. It draws people close, gives light in the darkness, but it does not consume. It is strong because it is patient. It does not take more than it needs. The smoky wildfire suddenly collapsed in on itself, leaving only smouldering embers. Eagle Eye threw another green branch on it, and again it hissed and it surged, unpredictable and consuming. Fear demands to be fed constantly. It's never satisfied. But love lasts because it only takes what is given freely. I stared at the two fires, the lesson sinking in. Eagle Eye stopped poking at the fire and met my eyes. So how do you know which fire to feed, Laughing Crow? I chuckled, shaking my head. You always ask the hard questions. He grinned, that's my job. You choose, he said simply, every moment of every day. So, what I want to talk about is love and fear, not necessarily as energy, but as information. What information are you getting fed when you're getting fed with fear? What's the message you're hearing?
False.
Yep.
It's not real.
Yep. But if someone is if you're getting fed fear, are you getting
To press you down.
to press you down? I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You're ugly. You're a loser. No one likes you. Each of those things that I just said, at some point probably each of you have said that to yourself. Would that be right? Does it make it true? Of course not. But it's information, and information that was fed to you, either from outside sources or from yourself. But what about love? Love also gives an information, doesn't it? When someone greets you and gives you a big hug, what's the information?
Acceptance.
You are accepted. Community. Yep.
Unity, bond,
Yep.
belonging.
When a little kid comes running up to you to show you their new favourite shell, what's that? Trust. Love, joy, excitement at the love of life. When you achieve something and you're really proud of yourself, what do you tell yourself?
Good job. I can do it.
I
Yeah.
can do it.
Doubt is gone because you've achieved.
Yep. So it's all information, isn't it?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm stressing that moving away from the idea of energy into information is because this shift that's happening, the old way was to teach you guys about energy and how that flows. With this shift comes a greater conscious understanding of what scientists call quantum mechanics, quantum physics, quantum computing, and that's informational, that's instant. What I experience here, Jenny's able to experience straight over there at exactly the same time. There is no separation. What is energy? Energy flows from one point to the other, doesn't it? quantum, though, there is no energy flow. It just is, both in me and in Jenny. Does that make sense? So when those little voices that pop in and are saying you're not good enough, guess what they're triggering your body straight away? Dis-ease, illness. Just from that instant of informational transfer. But what happens to your body when it's sent information of love? Wellness, well-being. Now, this universe, spirit, the world around us, the natural world, is it working properly or is it not working properly? It's working as it's meant to. So the creator, spirit, universal life energy, it doesn't make mistakes. Are each and every one of you part of that? So the information being fed to you is that each and every one of you is perfect exactly the way you're meant to be, at the right time, at the right place, right here, right now. You are perfection. And I'm not saying that to blow flowers up your ass, okay? I'm saying that because each and every one of you need to understand that you were made perfectly for what's happening right now. And that also means that you were made perfectly to be able to hear the voice of spirit, see the movement and actions of spirit, and be able to pass on the message of spirit that each and every other person out in the world is perfect as well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
I think we need to remember too that fear actually stands for false evidence appearing real.
Yep.
If we remember that, that is what fear is. False evidence appearing real.
Yep, exactly. Now, who's ever thought of someone and they've called on the telephone? Who's ever gone out and thought, geez, I'd really love da 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 da, and that's happened on that day? Okay.
Can I say what I was laughing at? Liz came in and asked me last night, do you want Subway? And like 2 seconds before I'm thinking, oh, I think I like Subway for dinner.
That there, that's a perfect example, okay? When we're talking about the quantum information, it's instant. Probably when you were thinking that, Liz was thinking it at exactly the same time.
As we do, we say things at the same time too, just
Yep.
random things, just,
So there's no energy flow there. There's actually a quantum connection. What's happening for you is also happening for you. That's how telepathy works. That's how spirit talks. So as you're going out in the world and observing and listening and quieting the mind, guess what also happens? You become tuned in to be able to actually hear the message, that information, those little bits float into your mind. Who's ever thought they'd picked up on a message from another person in their head?
Well, can I just say something? We had this conversation, what you're speaking about right now.
Yep.
in the car before we came.
Yep. There you go. Okay.
Very good.
And just out of curiosity, if you were feeling an open invitation for dinner with your Subway, that was that was happening in my head. Yeah, so yeah, just whenever you feel the need, yep, just come over. Yeah.
The burrito was good, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other night, I did a little bit of a practice with a couple of these guys doing what we call thought transference. And all it is exactly what we've just described. Quieting the mind, feeding the engine the energy of love, but we're not sending love. We are love in both places. So we're going to do a practice tonight. We're going to do what similar to what we did the other night. How many people have we got here? 16 with myself. Okay. Ray will be drumming, so he won't be participating in this. So that leaves 14 of you. Now, I want you to sit next to someone that you normally wouldn't speak to or talk to or you don't know very well. Okay? And we're going to do a bit of a practice. We're going to do some breath work and then we're going to drop into this opportunity for someone to send and someone to receive. Okay? All right. Find a partner.